All right, good morning. Good morning and welcome to GCU. All right, if you're not awake after that, there is no hope for you today. So glad you're with us. Thank you for joining us. Obviously, we have a lot of fans. Thank you for your grace in pulling in as closely as possible. We appreciate that. Will you join with me in praying as we begin this morning? Heavenly Father, we pause to acknowledge you, to express our gratitude to you, to thank you for your goodness, your grace toward us in Christ. In so many ways, you've blessed us with abundance, things that we can pass on, ways that we can serve others. And so we thank you that we have tremendous facilities that we're celebrating today. We thank you that we have incredible resources, human and otherwise, by which we can serve and meet the needs of others. We ask you today, as we pause to celebrate, that we would be mindful of your presence with us. We ask that we would be sensitive to your guidance as we try to honor and serve based on all of the things that you've granted to us. If we might be so bold, we ask that you would bless us and continue to bless us as we move forward in Christ's name. Amen. All right, if you will, please rise, join me for the playing of the
stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red rails arms bursting in and gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, thank you for being here. Welcome. Good morning. It's a big day for us, big school year for us, and we wanted to talk about what's happened and what's going to happen going forward. And want to thank the students for being here, the band. Want to thank Critical Mass for being here and leading us in the national anthem. Thank you very much. We have some extremely important people here, and we're really blessed by their presence today. I'd like to introduce a couple of them. The Director of Economic Development for the City of Phoenix and a great, great partner of ours. Please welcome Chris Mackey. Raise your hand, please. Local city councilman and friend of the university in so many, many ways. We're blessed to have him here. Kevin Robinson, please recognize Kevin Robinson. Thank you, sir. Another local congressperson who's been here and helped us in so many ways over the years, Jim Waring. Arizona Senator Janae Shamp is here. Thank you. Arizona Department of Education, Ed Cota is here. Ed, thank you. And a tremendous friend of ours over the year that's helped us in unbelievable ways. He still has a bright political future, and we're trying to help him as well. Daniel Valenzuela, you're here. Thank you, sir. We also have some GCU board members. Dr. Fred Miller, Dr. Jim Rice, and Dr. Lupita Hightower are here. I listen to the news at night, and I'm trying not to, and I wonder sometimes if we're in the same country that I grew up in. I just don't understand a lot of the things that we're even talking about. We're here today to, I think, talk about the things that we should be doing in America. When you think back 14 years ago, this property was one of the worst, most troubled spots in the city of Phoenix. There had been a car dealership here that had been torn down. a big empty lot. There was a swap mart. I don't know a lot about swap marts. It was probably a good one by swap marts. But it was here. There was a hotel that was serving mainly prostitution and drugs all day and all night long. There was a sex shop right in front of it. And every night there were police cars and sirens, and there were helicopters, and it was just a very, very tough place and a difficult place for the thousands of great people that live in this neighborhood that had to live in the middle of all that. We got started, and we bought the hotel, we bought the sex shop. I asked our business dean to go in and take a close look at how it was doing. He said it was very poorly managed, in his opinion. So I put out through HR, see if anybody had any experience running these things. 4 people raised their hands. So we looked into their backgrounds. Actually, we took a couple hammers out there and it came right down. And then we started to work. What God has done here has been literally unbelievable. We could have never predicted that this was going to happen or that it would turn out like this. You take one step at a time. You just keep moving forward. But we built a 350,000 square foot building, what we call Building 71. There were 3,000 people working there at one time, but COVID happened. We sent them all home. They were really thrilled to be working from home. They come in periodically, but that gave us an opportunity to do something new with that building. Classrooms and laboratories. The university now spans from 35th Avenue, not just to 27th Avenue, but across 27th Avenue. Classrooms and laboratories are going up there, a brand new accelerated Bachelor of Science in Nursing program facility. We're going to need 1.5 million additional nurses in the next 5 years alone, and somebody's got to scale nursing programs. You'll hear about that. We have hundreds and hundreds of churches in the valley that need pastors, and there is a seminary now that is up and running in that building. I want to introduce somebody who's become a very good friend of ours. Nick Sherman, would you stand up, please? Nick? Nick runs one of the outstanding charter school programs on the west side, including the largest school for autism in the state. He had some trouble with property, and he asked if we could help. So his very, very large autism school that does incredible work every single day and night is now located in Building 71. We have conference rooms. That's turned into a huge, vital facility, 350,000 square foot, almost $100 million worth of investment. Next door, where the swap mart was, there's 140,000 square feet. There are 33 new businesses incubating there. When we can get them to positive revenue, we're going to locate them onto the west side to create more jobs. Student came to me a couple years ago and said there's a need for small manufacturing firms in the valley, and I think I could start a small manufacturing facility. He did more than we thought he was going to do, so we loaned him $1.5 million to expand. There's a small manufacturing facility in that, and we're going to, in that facility, produce electricians, machinists, and we'll go from there. You'll hear a little bit about that in a second. We also have an incredible organization in that facility now. It's 100,000 square feet. It's called CityServe. We're basically bringing in goods from all over the country, 2 truckloads a week, $60,000 worth of stuff on each truckload. We pay $3,500 for the transportation. We unload the stuff. We put it in the warehouse. We have 120 points of distribution now in our neighborhood, inner city churches who gets that stuff in the hands of people who need it. In the last 2 years, because of all the work our students have done supporting that activity, we've gotten over $10 million worth of brand new household goods to over 20,000 Arizona families from as far north as the Indian reservations, as far east as Yuma, south to Tucson, but mainly in this neighborhood. It's an incredible it's an incredible ministry that you're going to hear a little bit more about. The hotel. The sex shop is gone, that's true. The hotel has been turned into something we call Discover GCU. 13,000 students from around the country, high school seniors, will come to Arizona this school year. They will stay in that hotel. They'll visit GCU. 70% will become GCU students. 80% of those, when they graduate, will stay in Arizona. I want to say those numbers again. So over 13,000 students will come from all over the country. They will stay for a night or two in that hotel. They will visit GCU, and 70% of those students will become students here, and 80% of them, when they graduate, will stay in Arizona to help build the workforce. So what we're here to talk about and what we're here to celebrate is what we can do in places like this. The Canyon Corridor, Maryvale. The Governor Ducey told me, former Governor Ducey told me that was one of his biggest concerns going forward for Arizona. But every city in America has an inner city. It has a place where immigrants that come settle. They're trying to they're trying to become citizens. They're trying to achieve the American dream. Our inner cities continue to deteriorate. It's one of the embarrassing things about living in America, but that can all be fixed. The message is we need a government partner, but government can't do it. If you go all the way back to Lyndon Johnson, the Great Society, the war on poverty, the welfare system, it hasn't made a dent in poverty. It hasn't made a dent in places like this. But a free market entity combined with the Christian worldview perspective, but to put the needs of others in front of your own, can make incredible change in a short period of time and impact thousands of people. This place, in 10 years, you won't recognize it. It's going to be so different if we just keep going. We want to introduce you to a couple people, but this person in particular. In Building 66, there's also a learning lounge. We started that 10 years ago, and we asked the students that live in the neighborhood, the K-12 kids, to come after school between 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock. We assigned a university student to help them succeed academically. That led to a scholarship program. We've raised over $10 million for that scholarship program and awarded 700 full-ride scholarships to kids that come right out of this local neighborhood. This work can absolutely be done. I want to introduce you to one of the students that came to the Learning Lounge. She excelled academically. She got a scholarship. And as soon as she graduated, she was raised right in this neighborhood. As soon as she graduated, we snapped her up. We hired her. Brianna Castro, please come forward, please.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brianna Castro, and as President Mueller said, in 2018, I graduated from Washington High School and became one of the 2018 Students Inspiring Students Scholarship recipients, something that I truly never thought to be possible. I mean, my parents came from Central America hoping for a better future for their families, but I don't think they could have ever imagined that their firstborn would receive a full-ride scholarship to a private university. Being well aware of how surreal the opportunity was, I did immediately begin to take advantage of the resources GCU had to offer. As a high school student, I spent my entire senior year in the GCU Learning Lounge, and once I began my journey at GCU, I made sure to give back at the community by becoming an English tutor at the Learning Lounge myself, and then a mentor for the SIS scholarship. I began to realize quickly on, like President Mueller said, that I had a big passion for helping students figure out what their future could look like, and they most definitely did snatch me right up. Last year, I graduated with my degree in English for secondary education, and I am now a university admissions counselor for GCU. I now get to work with students who are in the position I was once in. I get to work with students from Trevor Brown, Maryvale High School, Washington High School, helping them see how attainable college can really be as long as they put in the effort. And as for my family, we continue to move forward as well, as I now have 3 younger sisters, all that are which college bound because of the first stepping stone that I took here at GCU. Throughout my time in education, there were many obstacles that I had to face, including my father's health, and quite sincerely, we didn't know if he would make it to see my first day of high school. Now, in just a year, specifically spring of 2024, he gets to see me graduate with my master's degree, watch one of my sisters graduate with her associate's degree, watch the other one graduate from high school, and the other one promote. A lot of graduation parties coming up. And my story is just one of many GCU students whose life has been changed because of the SIS scholarship. When I started here at GCU, it was me and my friends from Maryvale trying to figure out how everything works at GCU as SIS recipients. Now, I am a counselor, my friends are engineers, my friends are teachers, they're nurses, all of us now providing for our families and working in the same community that we grew up in, making a difference for everyone. And this was all made possible because of the SIS scholarship and the resources provided for GCU. Because of GCU, my community, my family, my friends, we are all thriving, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. Thank you.
For all of you employers out there, she is off limits. This is known as the firm. There's a huge teacher shortage in America. I don't know if there's anything that is more threatening to the future of this country than we don't have licensed teachers in schools, especially in schools where they're most needed, in places like Maryvale. We have 26,000 students in our education program. Half of them are preparing to be first-time teachers. One of the most creative things I've seen done in higher education in my last 30 years is this. We have contracts with Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Orange County, Boston public school districts, and 87 different school districts in the valley, especially on the west side. There are literally thousands of paraprofessionals working in schools. Most of them are single mothers. They're making $25,000 a year. We have gone in and put together programs so that those people can achieve their baccalaureate degree and become licensed teachers. We're now producing those licensed teachers as a result of that work with paraprofessionals by the thousands all over the country. Those people will be teachers right in their local schools. We just need to keep going. In 5 or 10 years, we could have a situation where we have more teachers than we need. That's how we need to think. But we need to think creatively, and we need to do that work in neighborhoods like this. The person that is running this program is our Dean of Education, Dr. Meredith Critchfield. Please welcome her, please.
Good morning. What a powerful testimonial, Brianna. Thank you for sharing. Again, my name is Dr. Meredith Critchfield. I have the honor of serving as the GCU's Dean for the College of Education. We hear a lot about the teacher shortage. President Mueller just shared a bit about that. It is absolutely an epidemic. It is a crisis, but we don't hear a lot about the solutions to that shortage. And we are so proud in the College of Education to be providing those solutions. We have over 26,000 students in our college. Over the last 15 years alone, we've graduated 80,000 educators and sent them across the country. It's incredible. But none is more important than serving the community right outside these walls. We take that job very, very seriously. And we have contracts, again, with districts all over the United States. But serving the community in the West Valley is of the utmost importance to us. So we've created two really innovative pathways that we think are pretty special. President Mueller shared a bit about the paraprofessionals or teachers aid pathway, where we cohort those folks together, especially here in the Valley, some of the districts here in attendance. We cohort those folks together, get them into a program, get them licensed with ADE, and then help them change the trajectory, not only of the district, not only of the school, but of their life, right, as they move up the pay scale. So that's one pathway. Another pathway that we think is so special and really addresses that teacher shortage is an emergency substitute teacher pathway. Now, to our knowledge, no other school, no other university in the United States is doing this work, so we think it is pretty special. What we do is we work alongside our students. We skill them up, we level them up, we make sure that they are ready to serve as substitute teachers. We work again with ADE to get them certified as emergency substitute teachers, and then they go out as rescue subs all around the Valley, but especially right outside these walls, serving schools just around the corner. They serve as rescue subs. They go in, they spend a day, they make anywhere from $150 to $200 a day, 1 to 5 days a week. So we're changing their lives while they're going into schools and districts and changing the lives there. So we are so proud of the work that we do. And again, yes, there is a crisis. Yes, there is a teacher shortage, but there are some universities like this one that are changing that. And we're so proud to be one part of that story. So with that said, yes. So with that said, I have one person who is instrumental in all of that I get to introduce. Her name is Dr. Lupita Hightower. Many of you all know her. She is a Board of Trustees member, a College of Education Advisory Board member, a superintendent for the Tolleson Elementary School District, an amazing human being, yes, an absolutely amazing human being, and a multiple-time winner of Superintendent of the Year. So, with no further ado.
Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor to be here with you today. Every single school across the state and across the nation has a very specific mission, vision, and goals that they set up. But one of the things that we know is that we can't do the work alone. So it genuinely takes a village to do the work that we do. So we are so blessed to have Grand Canyon University as our village and as our support system. In our district, the Tolleson Elementary School District, we always say that every single child is capable of success, no exceptions. And no exceptions means no exceptions. But that is a philosophy and that is a belief system. And there's a lot of work that needs to take place. So how does a university do it, right? How does a university partner with more than 5,000 school partners and make us all feel like VIPs? And they do. I'm just blown away. So our dean, Dr. Critchfield, spoke about the importance of having an extraordinary College of Education. And in the College of Education, Grand Canyon University has the reputation of having some of the most effective teachers that are out there. But let's clap to that. But they don't stop there. They have a promise, and we have a promise that we make to every single school system to say, you have a teacher in the classroom that is struggling, the university will send support for the teacher to be successful and to be effective. And then another way that the university really provides support is by the vision of our president, President Mueller, and the team. So President Mueller meets with school superintendents 2 or 3 times a year, and a huge team. And he's listening to whatever the needs are, and he's nimble, and he's able to take the team and say, what are the needs that are happening in K-12, and how can we support? You've heard some of those, but in addition to that, he's been able to learn from us and say, okay, you have a need for a chief financial officer, let's make it happen. Let's create programs and opportunities for the schools so they can have these chief financial officers. Also, we're able to post all of our jobs on the job board. So when we post our jobs, We are able to have after-school workers. We're able to have substitutes. And then 2 other opportunities that the university offers that make a huge impact, and all of these are aligned to our goals, to our strategic plans, is how do we support the families in our community. So you heard a little bit about CityServe. And CityServe, as they're partnering with faith-based organizations or churches, they become points of distributions to schools. So they have helped thousands of families, including families in my community, to be able to provide them with household goods, but also to provide them with food. There's actual food, there's meat, there's dairy that they're able to provide to our families in our community. One that's extremely close to my heart and we are beyond excited is the Learning Lounge. You heard a little bit about that. And all of these resources that I'm sharing, they're free of cost. When have you ever heard that, right? Like they're free of cost as you're partnering with this amazing university. And at Towson Elementary, we're going to be able to transport a lot of students to the Learning Lounge and have these amazing college students that are specially trained. You heard the amazing Brianna, to work with our K-12 students. But also those students may become the students, Inspiring Students Scholarship recipients. And one of the things that President Mueller always says is that there's no difference between the kids in Phoenix, in Towson, in Buckeye, in Maryvale, or in Scottsdale. The only difference is what happens between the 3 to 8 p.m. time. So this is just an unbelievable opportunity. As you can tell, we are beyond grateful for all the work that the university provides out of the goodness of their hearts and by the grace of God. So we are grateful, and we're hoping that they continue to thrive and they continue to make a difference for all, as it truly does take a village. Thank you so very much.
If you come to one of our graduations, we probably have 20 graduations in the spring with students coming from all over the country, not just the students that graduate here, but kids that are working adults that come from all over the country. If you come to our RN to BSN graduation, or if you come to our MN graduation, you have to be a extremely talented person with regards to reading international names to announce them as they walk across the stage. And I'm a very pro-immigrant person. But there's thousands and thousands, literally, of students, young people in that Canyon corridor and in Maryvale that would love a shot at a great career. We're going to need 1.5 million additional nurses in the next 5 years alone if people are going to get taken care of. This is a huge problem. Nursing programs tend to be very small. We say here, if you can't scale it, why do it? You have to figure out how to scale things. We now have 40 locations stood up around the country, 20,000 square foot facilities where we have an accelerated Bachelor of Science in Nursing program put together to take local people, put them into nursing programs in an accelerated fashion and get them out as nurses. Our goal is 80 locations across the country, and we'll get there in the next 4 to 5 years. But 40 of those will be GCU locations, and most of those are going to be right in the Southwest, mainly in Arizona. The person that's leading that charge to get as many of these kids in this neighborhood as possible into a great profession that can change the directory of their family, but it can also provide a service that we're all going to need in a community like this. Please welcome our Dean, Dr. Lisa Smith.
Well, good morning. You just heard President Mueller state that 1.5 million nurses are going to be needed over the next several years. I want to share some additional critical information. Over 66,000 qualified applicants were turned away last year from baccalaureate level nursing programs. This was reported by AACN, the American Association of Colleges of Nursing. I want to say that again. Over 66,000 individuals, qualified individuals, were turned away from nursing programs last year. It's no surprise, as you heard, that there is a national nursing shortage. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Arizona will have over 195,000 RN openings between now and 2031. And the RN workforce is expected to grow by 6% during that time. So how is it possible that over 66,000 qualified applicants were turned away last year? And the year before that, the number was over 76,000. Well, AACN reports the primary barrier to entry-level baccalaureate nursing programs continues to be a lack of clinical placements, followed by a lack of faculty, preceptors, and classroom space. We can build the facilities necessary to educate nurses, and we have the means to recruit and retain qualified GCU faculty. Grand Canyon University has been doing this and educating nursing students since 1981. So for over 40 years, we have prepared graduates to deliver safe, ethical, and effective nursing care while preparing every single graduate for NCLEX, the National Licensure Exam. However, we are reliant on healthcare organizations to provide clinical experiences. So we are thrilled to announce Abrazo Health will partner with GCU to provide clinical placements for our West Valley students. Through this clinical partnership, graduates will be immersed in Abrazo facilities and their culture and have immediate opportunities for employment upon graduation. This month, GCU has enrolled over 300 students who are beginning the core nursing program between our 5 Arizona nursing program locations. Our West Valley site here is opening at full capacity this semester with 72 students. And in just 16 months, these accelerated BSN students will be prepared to enter a fast-paced, dynamic profession. This 27th Avenue site will be a great pipeline for Abrazo in the West Valley. We are excited to partner with them and be part of the nursing solution together. It's my pleasure to introduce to you now Brian Ilesko, the Chief Executive Officer of Abrazo Health Market, and our Clinical Director of Education, Alice Gonzalez.
Well, thank you so much for having me this morning. My name is Brian Ilesko, and I have the privilege of serving as the Group Chief Executive Officer for Abrazo Health System and Carondelet Health System down in Southern Arizona. I'm actually a Phoenix native and have just seen this community grow, prosper, and change since growing up here in the 1980s. I'm really excited for everything that we've had the opportunity to do in partnership with Grand Canyon University. But before I get there, I just wanted to give a quick background on what we do with the Abrazo Health System. So at Abrazo Health System, we're 5 acute care hospitals throughout the Phoenix area and beyond. One of the highest growth areas that we continue to see a need for healthcare, high quality healthcare services is on the west side of town. It's not only a high growth area for Phoenix and our surrounding areas, but it's actually one of the highest growth areas in the entire country. As someone that loses sleep every single night thinking about how to continue to fill the needs of our future patient populations, and knowing that I can't physically take care of patients, and in order to do that, we have to be able to invest in a healthcare workforce that can not only accommodate the patients that we have today, but also the enormous need of patients that will be needing our services in the future. We need to turn to places like Grand Canyon University to produce a healthcare workforce for not only now, but for the future. Now, what I wanted to do was just take a moment to tell a little story about how we came to be in partnership with Grand Canyon University. About a year and a half ago, we were facing an incredible exodus of highly qualified healthcare workforce from the entire country, and we were not immune to that. And it was hard, and it is hard. And every single day, we were seeing a mass exodus of people from the healthcare industry, especially nurses, and we were dealing with day-to-day issues, night-to-night issues of trying to figure out how we were going to staff just the needs of the healthcare community that was seeking our services at the time when they needed us the most.
what we did was we recognized that we couldn't necessarily have an immediate impact for the future of nursing care without really looking one step ahead. And I asked Alice Gonzalez, who's our Director of Education and a graduate of Grand Canyon University School of Nursing, what are some of the top nursing programs in the state? And she immediately said Grand Canyon University. Yeah. So I'll admit she probably was a little bit biased, but also say she was right. So we came to Grand Canyon University, and as Dr. Smith mentioned, realized that we were part of the problem. We weren't opening enough clinical slots to be able to allow nurses to have meaningful education experience during their school to meet the requirements of nursing school education. So we committed to start to open up and buy a slot placements for nurses at Grand Canyon University, and the relationship has continued to prosper from there. The next problem that we got asked was, well, where are the future nursing needs going to be? And we kept saying the west side, the west side, the west side. We need highly qualified nurses. We see the growth coming. There's not enough nursing school programs there. And we know that nurses that graduate from high caliber nursing school programs tend to stay in that community. I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be years before we saw movement. And due to the nimbleness of Grand Canyon University, a few weeks later, a few months later, maybe at the most, but I don't even think it was that long, GCU came to us and said, we think we can open up a nursing school on the west side, but we need Abrazo to partner with us. And we said, of course, we'll sign, we'll partner. And again, I thought years would go by before we'd see the first nursing student. I'm still learning Grand Canyon, if you can't tell. Sure enough, a few months later, they said, okay, we got all the permits, we got the building secured. And then again, I said, okay, I'm guessing it's going to take 3, 4, or 5 years before we hit full capacity of that program. And as you just heard from Dr. Smith today, we didn't take years. We took less than a year to be able to reach capacity of that program. So Grand Canyon has a committed partner with Abrazo Health. We know that these are going to be incredibly well-paying jobs that allow people from these communities to stay in their community and continue to prosper. And we also recognize the halo of influence that healthcare has on an entire community. And it all starts with nursing. And we're incredibly proud and humbled to be able to say Grand Canyon University is our partner in continuing down this endeavor. So thank you so much.
We have a graduate from our accelerated BSN program. Her name is Bobby Stevenson, and she graduated in May of this year and immediately passed NCLEX and began her employment. She would have been here this morning. Unfortunately, one of her children developed COVID over the weekend, so she's housebound today. But I do have permission from her to share her story. Because it is very typical of what we hear from individuals who are seeking a nursing career. In this case, she is a second career individual. Her first career was actually in medical research, and then she took some years off to raise her family. When she went back, she decided to sort of stay in something wellness-wise, and so she became a wellness coordinator for a large fitness facility. She actually is from Canada, and she had wanted to pursue nursing for over 20 years, but the timing was never right for her. But she says that she grew up in the most amazing, or with the most amazing role model. She was watching her love and serve others in the most selfless way, and that was her mother. So her mother was a nurse. So she finally made the decision to jump into a nursing program, and then she did her research. She researched ABSN programs in Colorado, Texas, and Arizona. And she was looking for something that would fit her busy lifestyle. She knew that she wanted a program that would allow her to do some of her work online so she could stay home, and then be close by for her clinical and her lab and simulation experiences. She needed a program that was quick, and financially she was in a position where she really needed to get back to work quickly. So GCU became the perfect fit for her after she completed all of her research. She did her work online, She came to the Sun City site where she completed her labs and her simulations, and then did her clinical in the local area. She's grateful to each and every instructor and preceptor that was a part of her educational journey. She experienced world-class skills labs, simulations, and clinical experiences. Each instructor cared for her and her success and motivated her to not be good, but to be great. So she wants to thank GCU and the awesome internship that she had in her last semester. She's currently working as a new graduate nurse in one of the busiest, highest acuity ICUs, she says, on this side of the Mississippi River. And she says that she owes it all to the incredibly challenging and rewarding experience at GCU. It was the best place for her to follow in her mom's footsteps and follow her 20-year dream of becoming a nurse. So thank you, Bobby. We are thinking of you today.
The next 10 years, I think, are an opportunity that we have in Arizona that if we come together, form the right partnerships, set the right goals, we can do something that's never been done before in terms of cutting into the poverty that exists in places like Maryvale and in other major cities. Now is the time in Arizona. I used to say, many of us used to say that if you're born in America, your chances of living a prosperous life go way up. We're now saying if you're born in Arizona, your chances of living a prosperous life go way up. Because of what former Governor Ducey did for 8 years and the very, very, very pro-business environment that he's created, Christine will talk about this. We have companies moving from all over the country and all over the world, from California, from New York, from Illinois. And the supply and demand in the labor force is flipped. There is a lot more now demand than there is supply. What does that mean? What we really are going to focus on the next 10 years is getting as many young people on the west side, in the Canyon Corridor, in Maryvale, into some kind of post-secondary education and into a middle-class job that can become an upper-middle-class job. The time to do that is right now. Most private universities with growing brands wouldn't do this, but we're excited about it. We are producing thousands of electrical, mechanical, biomedical engineers, computer scientists, information technologists, cybersecurity specialists, all those fast-growing areas. Well, we had a guy come to us that is the CEO of one of the largest construction companies in the world. They do a tremendous amount of work in Arizona, and he said, listen, for every electrical engineer we hire, we need 100 electricians. Industrial/construction electricians. These jobs can be not just middle-class jobs, they can become upper-middle-class jobs soon if we can find a scalable way to get students in. We asked him what it is we need to teach. He told us a lot of it was math. We put together our business school put together 4 courses, 4 credit hours each, 16 semester hours, 1 semester. We brought in 80 students that lived right in this neighborhood that recently graduated from high school. We had like 300 students we interviewed. We selected 80. We put them in the program. 79 graduated in 1 semester. It's a pre-apprenticeship program. They are now all making between $50,000 and $65,000 in year 1 with the potential to make $80,000 by year 3 or 4 if they stick with it. We're putting another 240 students in that program right now, even as we speak. 120 started in September, just a couple weeks ago. In addition to that program, I talked a little bit about the manufacturing facility that we have in Building 66. We started students this September in a machinist program. The students are actually going to do 20 hours of academic work per week, and then they're going to do 20 hours of work at nearly $20 a credit hour. These are going to be students that come right out of this neighborhood. They're going to graduate in one semester with a machinist certificate and be ready to take a job as a machinist in a manufacturing facility, hopefully on the west side, but certainly in Phoenix or Arizona. This program is infinitely scalable. It's a pre-apprenticeship program, but we want to get thousands of students in Maryvale in this program and on their way in one semester's time to a middle class or upper middle class life. This can be done. We just have to have the right partnership. The company's name is Rosenden. The CEO is Mike Greenewald, and he's been an incredible partner, and it's his vision for what this could become that's creating this opportunity for Arizonans. We ask him to be here. Would you please welcome Mike to the stage?
Good morning, everybody. What a wild ride this has been. He talked about Grand Canyon speed. 2 years ago in the room behind me, I pitched this deal. 2 years ago. January, I get a call saying, let's do this. We need to start in September of 2022. We started. Today, we have 45 pre-apprentices that are in the apprenticeship working for Rosenden. The others are out in industry working for our competitors. What we created with the partnership with GCU is a program that's scalable. It's an industry problem solver. This is not just for Rosenden. What we're also offering is we're offering kids like myself, the C student, the kid that wanted to work on cars, loved auto shop or wood shop better than math. Those kids are out there. We've got high school counselors now offering the opportunity to go to college to these kids. No longer do you have to be the 4.0. You can be a C student, go to GCU for one semester. This pre-apprenticeship is such a pipeline. It has opened up the world of construction to so many young men and women. With that, they come in. We've got apprenticeships coming to this program now saying it started with one apprenticeship. I think we have 4 apprenticeships standing in line for these young men and women for jobs. Now, you heard a lot about labor shortages. We've heard about the TSMC job in North Phoenix. They're delaying the work because of labor shortages. I can say I think we have 4 or 5 kids right now working at TSMC that a year ago walked through the doors here at GCU. The kids coming through this program are working in every city around Phoenix right now. They're in Goodyear, Tolleson, Phoenix, Tempe. They are spreading out. We're feeding the demand, but it has to scale. It has to scale. What does it mean for the industry? What does it mean for the city? We're providing an educated labor force, a young group of young men and women that might have ended up in construction somewhere, but we're giving them an education path. We're giving them a path for a career. We're giving them jobs with benefits. We're giving them a reason to stay. We're giving a reason to stay in that career and to come back to GCU and maybe come back and finish their undergrad or greater. Right now, Rosenden in Phoenix, we have 5 undergrad kids. One of them really doesn't count because he's my son, but he's a GCU grad. We have these undergrad kids, the partnership. I was looking for electricians. We pulled a kid out of the analytics lab. He's doing our AI. We've got marketing people. We've got people in our BIM lab. We're pulling young men and women. The partnership is so important that we're staffing our needs beyond the electricians. This partnership is scalable. Again, when you're working with GCU, you learn what the word scalable is. We started with 40. President Mueller said, we really need 100. Let's just do 40. But as he said, we've got 120 starting this semester, another 120 next semester. He's probably thinking it's 200, but I'm hearing 120. We can scale this, but we need industry partners. What we need is businesses asking for the GCU pre-apprentices. When you're doing interviews for your construction projects, ask, where are you getting your electricians? Are they in an apprenticeship? Our apprenticeships are vital to our existence. I talked about the C student, Mike Greenewald. I'm a high school graduate with a union ticket, journeyman wireman's ticket in my back pocket. I run a $3 billion a year company with 7,000 employees. When I come out and meet with these kids in this program, I see 40 Mike Greenewalt sitting there. They have an opportunity. GCU offers that. We need the industry to accept it. We need the industry to demand this. We need the cities, the builders, the economic developers in the country to say, we need apprentices. So with that said, this program is vital. It's scalable. We're going to take this to other states. We're going to grow it here. I think we'll probably have 200 to 300 a semester coming through this program. And it's going to be an industry changer. And GCU, that's what we've done together. So thank you to President Mueller. Thank you to everybody that listened to me in the room right behind me 2 years ago. And I really think we're changing the world with this. Thank you.
When we started those students, somebody came and asked me, you know, are they going to be students like the rest of our students? I thought about that for a second. I said, that's the problem. That is exactly the problem with that question. These are very, very talented kids. They've got a different talent intellectually than some of the kids that are on our campus going through four-year programs, but they're every bit as smart and necessary and needed, and they need the same kind of future as the kids that go through 3 or 4 year programs. We had a student graduate a couple years ago who watched the university grow and said, you know, I think I can put a motor on a skateboard and I think I can sell them to students at GCU because the campus is getting bigger and it's hard to get around. He did that. It was called Lux Manufacturing, and after a couple years, I said, you know, it's an ingenious thing. You're selling a lot, you're making a lot of money, but we got kids in the health clinic with broken bones. So there's a flip side to what's going on here. Is there something else you can do with your talent? That's not exactly how this went, but he actually came to me and said, you know, I got an idea. There's manufacturing jobs, small manufacturing jobs all over the valley. Big companies like Honeywell don't want to do small manufacturing jobs. The margins in small manufacturing are very thin. But if you'll give me free space and you'll give me free utilities, I'll buy some machines and I'll go out and find those jobs. I said, okay. I was focused at that time on getting the basketball team to the national tournament. He came back a year later and said, it's going very well. We have lots of jobs. We need, the future is, and so we loaned him a bunch of money. He bought, I don't know, triple the number of machines, and we're growing. I mean, we are growing right there in Building 66. Machinists are necessary to the economy. It's a skilled occupation. It pays well. We got to bring manufacturing back to the country, but let's bring it back to Arizona. It takes ideas and people like this. Please welcome a GCU grad, Weston Smith.
Thank you, President Mueller. So once again, I'll introduce myself. My name is Weston. I'm the CEO and founder of Lux, which actually has a unique history because we were founded out of a dorm room here at GCU. Originally as Lux Longboards. Some of you guys may know us by that name. No, we don't know the statistic of how many people got hurt on our boards, nor do I want to know that. But today, at Lux Precision Manufacturing, our mission is to re-energize American manufacturing. Yeah. We manufacture components using CNC, precision manufacturing technologies to create precise components for various industries, including the defense, aerospace, and medical device. We've made components that have gone up in satellites, down to components into machines that manufacture catheters, heart stents, and balloons that save lives. But today marks a monumental day because we're here to make a difference in the workforce. And we're blessed to announce our partnership with GCU to help improve the Arizona manufacturing workforce. Just this past year, there was 900,000 unfulfilled manufacturing jobs in the U.S. There's a deficit. And by 2030, it's estimated that there will be 2.3 million unfulfilled manufacturing jobs. And here we are in Arizona, where our workforce is just thriving for manufacturing. we actually grew double the national average in manufacturing jobs here in the U.S. And if something isn't going to be done about this, we're going to have a problem. People are going to be imported. But we're here in Maryville. We have a keen opportunity to take people from our backyard and give them a manufacturing education so that they can make a difference in industry. And so we've just opened a 10,000 square foot manufacturing plant in partnership with GCU, where these students and launched the CNC manufacturing, as GCU has launched the CNC manufacturing certificate program, where these students will go to class. They're going to learn basic manufacturing principles. They'll have an opportunity to learn, get a phenomenal education from GCU, but then Lux is hiring these students so they can come, they can get real-world experience on a manufacturing floor. And so they can then graduate, go out into industry, and make a huge difference. And so I want to take a second and thank GCU for the opportunity to join them in this partnership to impact the West Valley, the manufacturing workforce. And I want to invite every one of you to come and check out the new manufacturing facility after this. Thank you.
No forgotten neighborhoods, no forgotten areas of the city. Places like this are teeming with talent. U.S. News and World Report university rankings give no credit to this kind of work. They give no credit to being able to scale at low cost, low debt levels, programs so that we can serve people, families in neighborhoods like this. It takes partnerships, and a lot of this work is getting done because of a partnership that we have with the city of Phoenix. I can't tell you how important they've been to what's happened here. We put almost $2 billion into this campus without any support from state taxpayers. It's serving now 26,000 students on the campus, 92,000 students online, 5,000 students in hybrid programs. But without the city, we couldn't have done the work necessary to build this infrastructure. This person is literally a force of nature. The work that she gets done bringing companies to Arizona it really is incredible. And what we've been telling her now is we love the fact that Chandler's doing well and Gilbert's doing well and other great cities in Arizona are doing well and attracting companies like that, but we need them to come to Maryvale. We've got that. We need them to come to Maryvale. There's an incredible amount of immigrant pent-up desire and ambition here. We have scalable programs to help kids get prepared. The future of the workforce here is really, really bright. And I'd like Christine Mackey to come and talk just a little bit about that. Please welcome her.
Good morning. Well, I'm always the shortest girl in the room. First, I want to say to Weston, so there was another company that started in a dorm room, and it's called Microsoft. So never forget where Lux is going to go under your leadership, ever. Good morning. As President Mueller said, I'm Chris Mackey. I have the privilege of being the Director of Economic Development here for the City of Phoenix, and I get to work intimately day in and day out with Grand Canyon University. So I'm going to take a minute just to tell you about what's going on in Phoenix, and then I'm going to tell a story that kind of follows the theme of this morning of GCU being so nimble. So when we look at the city of Phoenix, we have absolutely changed the trajectory of the city of Phoenix over the last 10 years. And we've done that with surgical precision in going after very specific companies, very specifically manufacturing because of its economic multiplier, and changing the face of Phoenix today. I like to tell people, so I get to travel all over the globe recruiting companies, and I'll talk to a CEO, and he'll say, oh yeah, I was in, I'll say, about Phoenix, and he'll say, oh gosh, yeah, I was in Phoenix. I know all I need to know about Phoenix. And I say, oh, when were you in Phoenix? Well, I was there in 1993. I played golf at the Biltmore. Like, yeah, this ain't your granddad's Phoenix anymore. So we have worked diligently under the mayor and council's leadership to change the job generations here of Phoenix. I am very proud to tell you that just announced last week, Arizona was #1 in job creation across the entire country. I'm also here to tell you that we have moved from, not even 50th across from cities across the country into #1 in emerging job creation in emerging biosciences companies. We started in 2001. A roadmap for biosciences was created. Our competition, San Francisco, New York, Atlanta, San Diego, kind of patted us on our head and said, aren't you just cute? You're stepping into an already saturated industry. And in true Phoenix fashion, go big or go home, we said thanks very much and put our heads down and kept driving forward. And we are now #1 in job creation for emerging cities in biosciences. We have 6 million square feet under construction, $4 billion in capital investment, and 10,000 new jobs whose average salary is over $80,000 that are underway today. And the theme of this morning in talking about manufacturing is critical. It's critical for the defense of our country. It's critical for the well-being of our citizens. Imagine that we go into a global conflict and we can't produce life-saving drugs in the United States, and they have to be produced in a country that we're now at odds with. A perfect example, I know this sounds like a dumb thing to recognize, but this dawned on me yesterday. Just getting goods into our market. Clearly in the pandemic, we all figured out what was going on. We either, factories were shut down, we couldn't produce basic materials to get in for our companies to use. They got stuck in shipping containers off the port of Los Angeles. But something as basic as happened yesterday to show you why manufacturing and production has to come back to the United States. I couldn't find cat litter yesterday, so I did a Google search to say, what the devil is going on? Why can I not find cat litter? Turns out that the wood pulp that makes cat litter is mined in Ukraine, and because of the conflict with Russia, they can't get the pellets into the factories to produce, and so there is a global shortage of something as simple as cat litter. Now imagine that's a diabetes drug. Imagine that's a cancer drug. Imagine that is an asthma drug for your child, and you can't get those back into the United States. That is why we are so passionate. My partner in crime, Brad Smith from the Greater Phoenix Economic Council's here. Brad, raise your hand. You can't miss Brad. He's always the biggest guy in the room. There he is. So Brad and I have been recruiting together for more decades than either of us care to admit. We've been on trade delegations. We've been out. We had a double dog dare against each other when we were in New York, and he double dog dared me to cold call the Rockefellers to get them to build in Arizona. We did a pitch in front of them, and they've built multiple projects now in Arizona. But it started as a joke. He dared me. He's like, double dog dare you. You won't do this. But going back to biosciences, going back to job creation, GCU, I want to tell you my GCU story. So about 7 years ago, I was working with a up-and-coming biosciences company here in Phoenix. They were a company that we'd had the privilege of incubating. They were a startup company, and they were now scaling. I lovingly call them a spare body parts company. They're the ones that doctors go to if you need a vertebrae, you need an ACL, you need these. They're mined and produced for surgery. They could not get anyone to bring aseptic training techniques to their employees. And so I had been working with other educational providers across the state for about 2 years, and we couldn't get a program stood up quickly enough that wasn't what our other education providers tend to do. They're looking at bachelor's degrees, they're looking at associate's degrees. They're not looking at quick hit 2-week training programs to keep a workforce skilled here. I'd been working for, as I said, for 2 years. I'd been up meeting with the company, and they had told me they were going to leave us for North Carolina because we couldn't produce the workforce that they needed, the skills of the workforce that they needed. For those of you that know me, no, can't, and I'm leaving are not words that work well in my repertoire. I was crushed. It was a company that was born in Arizona. It was in biosciences. It was this really creative company. And I was driving from Deer Valley, where they're located, down the 17. And I remembered about President Mueller. And President Mueller takes a meeting with me every month. He's the only university president that does it. We have a meeting every single month. Where we talk about things that we need to do. We talk about cutting edge technologies. We talk about where the puck is going to go. We talk about how we can be working together. And we don't just talk about it, we actually execute on that work. So I called one of his team members on cell as I was driving by, told him what was going on. He said, hang on just a minute. Gets President Mueller, he comes, he said, how fast can you be here? Flip my car around, fly back down the freeway and jump into GCU. I left here an hour after that meeting, and we had created a 2-week aseptic training technique program, and the company started less than a month later, and GCU still does their training today. As an economic developer, there is no better partner I could possibly have, the city of Phoenix could possibly have, Maryvale could possibly have, than Grand Canyon University. They're about training our workforce, they're about the Phoenix of the future, and they're about cities of the future where everyone rises. We don't leave people behind. They bring a chance to everyone to scale and to produce an ability for them to support their families and educate their families and move them forward. So from the bottom of my heart, President Mueller, you and your team, I thank you so much for being such a great partner to the city of Phoenix.
The person that deserves credit for that story is Dr. Mark Wooden, who was the dean of our natural sciences and engineering programs. I didn't intend this to be a love fest about GCU. I didn't intend that at all. I don't know for sure how I ended up here. I never had the intent to be a university president. I tell our students that if you want to give God a good laugh, tell him what your plans are. We have our plan. God has his plan. When we came here 14 years ago, I couldn't have ever anticipated that it was going to turn into this. We had a plan that was based on 2 things. One, the free market system has brought more people out of poverty than any economic system in the history of the world. And 2, Christian worldview perspective. If you really put the needs of others in front of your own, magic can happen. Great things can happen. God has his hand on this place in an extremely special way. And the reason for this morning was so that we could bring people together, understanding that the next 10 years represents an opportunity that has never existed before, I don't think, not in the time that I've been alive. There's a confluence of things that are happening right now in the city of Phoenix, in the state of Arizona, and in a place called the Canyon Corridor in Maryvale that could create a model that I believe could spread throughout the country. The government can't solve the problem of poverty, but a free market entity that gets into the middle of a city like this and forms partnerships and starts believing in the people that live there. There are 45 different languages that get spoken within 5 square miles of this place. It is a neighborhood, a city, a village of immigrants. And this country's always been built on the desire and ambition that immigrants have that their children can live a better life than they've lived. And that exists in a very real, tangible way in this place right now. And I wanted people to see it in a very tangible way. If you have a little bit more time, in Building 71, there's all kinds of things to see over there. That ABSN site is a remarkable place. You're going to go in there and meet real people, and you're going to meet fake people. And it costs us more to employ those fake people than the real people that are in there. It's amazing what technology can make us all worth. Building 66, if you want to go see Lux Manufacturing or City Serve or any of those things, I just want to leave with what this place right here used to be and what it is today. D.L. Modi, the great evangelist, used to say, if God is going to be your partner, make your plans really big. Make your plans really big. That's what's happened here. And we're only in, I would say, the second inning, and I would say top of the second. The next 10 years is such an unbelievable opportunity for all of us. Those of you that have come from the city, from private enterprise, from the university, right now, if we can continue to come together, I tell our students, I really want you to come here and get a great education, graduate, probably get married and have kids, and 10 years later, I would like you to bring your children back through this neighborhood and say, I was here when a lot of this work was getting done, and I had a role in it, and it's the single greatest thing that I'm proud of. What we've done from an educational perspective to use what we're doing from an education to have real tangible impact and lift people and lift families. So thank you for being here. There's some food left, there's some coffee left, and there's people ready to give tours if you'd like to do it. Thank you for your patience. And we'll see you all soon. Lopes up.